Will be an absolute doozy. Marshall Brewer and Lee Watkins leading off from Shane Houlihan and Richard Howe.
Position 5, we've got Matthew White. 6, Darren McDonald. Position 7, Jason Wiley. And number 8, Nathan.
National Cup here on the Goodyear Thunderdome. And who will be our 1997-98 Stratfield National Car Champion?
Well, we haven't got long to wait and see, Gerald. Now it's the culmination of a really tough year, a lot of money and a lot of hard work, and we've got mayhem right from the word go. What a picture out of Nathan Preddy's car in all sorts of trouble there right at the beginning of the race.
Well, we saw it quite clearly out the front of his windscreen. There was Richard Howe in that Furtree Gully Bolts car. I don't think enough bolts could fix that car to get back in the race.
I doubt it at this stage, Gerald. You know, cold tyres, the guys are pretty keyed up. They're ready for a fast start. Too fast on cold tyres because that's a result of what happens.
Well, that was an interesting one, and Richard Howe, who qualified in 4th spot, unfortunately, is going to have a tough time for the rest of the evening. Let's look at the Repco replay. And there goes Howe around.
Got the domino effect happening there. It's a little bit of bad luck for a lot of drivers there. I don't really believe it was anybody's fault. As we said earlier, the tyres were cold. Richard's been a little bit on the gas, got himself a little bit out of shape there, and then got a bit of a help around, but certainly nobody's fault, just a racing incident, but unfortunately caused a lot of damage.
Here we go from another angle. Look at Lee Watkins and Brewer out in front there. There he comes, and it goes around Shane Houlihan just...
And what about Darren McDonald around the outside there? How lucky was he not to have torn the side out of his race car?
And he started spinning that car. Jason Wiley coming on through is probably thinking, hey, this might be good for the championship. I don't like to win it this way, but McDonald straightened that car up, and we are going right down to the wire in this 60-lap race. Unfortunately, though, some of those cars are out. Nathan Preddy is heading to pit lane here at the Goodyear Thunderdome, as to is Richard Howe. Let's look again, and McDonald just sneaking up and around the outside in the 44 car. Poor old Nathan Preddy.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere to go. Gerald, we knew it was going to go to the wire. You know, it's going to be a tough race right from the right to the finish, and nobody's going to give it away easily, but nobody really wanted to see a lot of cars go out early in the race like that. Here we have it happening again. You've got the big smoke.
A full restart of this Stratfield National Cup final.
Well, and a fast restart it is. Marshall Brewer has set the pace, and Lee Watkins right behind him there, but certainly won't be content to sit there for very long. Lee desperately wants to win this race any way that he can.
And we've been told by race control that the race has actually been shortened down to 30 laps from the original 40. Marshall Brewer currently leads in the fast track racing car, and we're riding on board with Sean Henchelwood in the Kodak Commodore. There's the DeWalt Tools team starting to work on that number 2 Commodore.
Yeah, great crew doing a fine job there. They can, you know, unfortunately they've got to sit there and look at the car while their pit lane is under red conditions, and they just couldn't do anything to it. So very frustrating for Nathan.
Well, the action is certainly happening up in front of the field with Watkins and Brewer battling it out for first spot. Darren McDonald currently in 3rd, and Jason Wiley not too far behind in the blue and white 26 Trustbank Computerland car. So he's probably just going to watch McDonald and try and keep just on his tail, because McDonald's got to finish either 5 or 8 spots in front of him, depending on where they are actually on the racetrack in terms of other competitors.
Yeah, that's right, Gerald. But, you know, Jason's not one to sit too far back. He'll want to keep in touch. You're right about that. He certainly won't take too many chances, but he would also like to win the race to close out the championship.
Always a good way to win a championship is win the race. There goes Wiley on the inside of Houlihan. Houlihan stepped up from the Konica Sportsman category. There's Marshall Brewer and Watkins on screen in the 2 Ford Falcons, and they have cleared out from the rest of the field. Those blue oval cars are certainly putting the power to the ground this weekend at the Goodyear Thunderdome.
And isn't it good to see these drivers coming up through the ranks? Houlihan moves up into the national cars, and we've got a number of these national drivers moving up into the AC Delco Cup cars for next season.
Well, that's what it's all about. It's progressing and progressing through the field with championships. And talk about progressing.
Wiley.
Oh, boy. Wiley has just seen the Stratfield National Cup drive in and jive away out of the Computerland Trust Bank pit area. It is all over.
How heartbreaking is that? And what we were saying about just having to finish these races, not take any chances. He didn't really take any chances that I saw there, but the car got out of shape a little bit. He turned around, got a bit of help, and speeded it straight into the wall. Have a go at the front of that car.
Well, what a shame for Jason Wiley. It puts Darren McDonald in the box seat at the moment. We must bear it in mind that he's still got to finish the race, though. Wiley is in front in the point. Here he goes high. It appeared what happened, though, George. We see on the Repco replay as Wiley turns it into the wall. Early on, it appeared as though Jason actually got the front right-hand wheel off the verge of the track where it turns from the banking to a bit more of a flat track. It hooked the car, he hooked it around, and that's what the result was.
Yeah, there's a definite lip there, you know, and if you hook a wheel over the other side of that yellow line, I mean, that is a result that I've seen many, many times. And it's unfortunate, especially when you're running for the finals of the championship and leading it, I might add, but there he goes. He's down a little bit low there. If you just see his inside front wheel,
here it goes down.
There it is.
There it is.
Over the line now. That's where he's got the car unbalanced a little bit. He overcorrected just very, very slightly. The very good competitor, very good driver, and unfortunately, though, he just wasn't in a position to be able to do much about that. Eddie's tapped him, turned him back up towards the high side of the racetrack, and that big concrete wall sitting there waiting to gobble you up.
Well, the caution came out straight away. You saw John Mostini, the chief starter here, wave it away there. There's Jason Wiley on screen, very disappointed. Let's go down to Darren McDonald's pit area now, and his father, Peter. We've had it here for the Stratfield National Cars at the Goodyear Thunderdome. The grand final here, and has the championship ended? Well, we're not quite sure. Darren McDonald on lap 9 of 30 is now in the box seat, George Elliott, because prior to the break, Jason Wiley hooked it down low and hooked it up high into the wall.
Well, Gerald, it's certainly put Darren into a good position, but the championship certainly has not ended. It's not over yet, and it won't be for another 30 laps, or at least another 20-odd laps.
We must explain it as we sit on board with Nathan Pretty out in the repaired DeWalt Tool Goodyear car. And look at that front end, the steering wheel, they're bucking in his hands there. Obviously, that front end's not right, but Darren McDonald is actually behind Jason Wiley on the points, as we see the Auto Pro scoreboard on screen. McDonald still has to finish the race, and that is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. He could, you know, I mean, if he doesn't get himself into any trouble or get caught up in someone else's trouble, then certainly the championship is more likely his. But as we say, and looking through the windscreen now, anything can happen at any tick of the clock. We've got Melinda Dumsney looped it around there, got herself into a little bit of trouble. There's a bit of fluid coming out from under that car, whether she's had a problem just prior to that. A bit hard to tell from this angle.
Well, the number 8 Bob Jane T-Mart Yellow Terra Valvoline Commodore is pulling off onto the grass verge, and Melinda Dunn this point in time, and you'll see the flattened side of the car.
Smoke or water or steam coming out from underneath that car, and I'd say that it's got onto her rear tyres, and that's what's caused it to lose control of the car and turn around.
Luckily, Richard Howe and Sean Henselwood both went around the outside of her on a restart here at the Goodyear Thunderdome, with Lee Watkins now out in front of Marshall Brewer and Darren McDonald in third spot, heading towards the championship here for the Stratfield National Cup, lap 22.
Lee Watkins certainly getting plenty of horsepower out of that Ford of his. He shrieks away as they come up to the start of the race there, and also got the handling package very, very tight. Looks like it's running around those corners on rails.
Picking up lap 29 of 30 at the Goodyear Thunderdome. Lee Watkins out in front in the Pennzoil 47 Ford Falcon. Last lap, a white flag has been waved here at the Goodyear Thunderdome for the Stratfield National Cup. Marshall Brewer is in second spot in his last run in the Stratfield National Car. And Darren McDonald, is he going to take the championship here? We think so. In the 44 Christians Holden Powell-Mac Commodore, he needs just to settle down around the last two bends and take it all the way.
Yeah, he needs to forget about racing Marshall Brewer at this point. All he wants to do now is race the racetrack, keep his car heading in the right direction. He goes across, takes the checkered flag and the championship.
Nathan and Peter McDonald.
We got there.
Well, Nathan's now with our happy winner, Darren McDonald.
Well, I certainly am. It's been the toughest of seasons, Darren. How does it feel at the end of 6 rounds to be the champion?
Unbelievable. I'm just so happy to be here. It's a real credit. I can't believe it.
The Stratfield National Cup ahead of Jason Wiley. Very disappointing for Jason, but a good year. Marshall Brewer in third. Let's